We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.
Hey everyone, happy Monday and welcome to another epic episode of Ask Drone U. My name's Paul.
Yes, it is an epic Monday and an epic podcast.
It's actually been pretty epically bad, let's be honest. Our internet went down. We had some issues with the studio this morning. It's been a fun day, Rob.
Yes. It's gotten the week off to a great start. But nonetheless, we are doing podcast number 303, and we thank you for spending a few minutes of your day with us.
I'm sure everyone in Colorado will actually love this podcast.
Absolutely. Yes, this is for you guys.
But just like we've been doing all day today in solving problems, we've come here to solve another one of your problems.
Yeah, it's something that I know you've worked on and have an idea of what you'd like to have all of our setups look like,
I
etc.
actually do want one of the setups I'm going to recommend here. I do want myself. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Not because I want crazy distance. So what we're going to talk about today is how you can extend your distance when you're flying your Inspire 1, you're flying your Phantom 3, whether it's Pro or Advanced. Now, you can't do this on a Phantom 3 Standard, just so you know. It uses a different type of...
Is that because it doesn't use Lightbridge?
It does not use Lightbridge.
Got it.
Yeah, so...
Cool.
Now, honestly, just to be 100% honest, I loved the old AVL 58 transmitters so much better than Lightbridge. Everyone's like, oh, Lightbridge is so clear, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but if you lose the signal, it loses everything completely. It's gone. At least with the old style transmission, you know, you would still have some static, and depending on how you are turning, you could see, oh, okay, if I turn left, I'm going to get more static. If I turn right, I'm going to increase my signal strength. So
sometimes new is not better.
No, I just like the flexibility, really, because it would never, the signal would never go fully out unless you were behind something.
Right.
So you had a way to kind of distinguish where you were based on your FPV system, which is cool. But with the new Lightbridge, we cannot do that.
So when did Lightbridge start, just out of curiosity? Which Phantom?
I think it actually started first with the Inspire 1.
Oh,
because the Inspire came out before the Phantom 3.
So it was not until the Phantom 3 that a Phantom series saw it.
Correct.
Got it. Cool.
Yep, which was fun this weekend. We had a training.
Yeah, it sounds like it went well. Thank you to everybody that participated in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had a lot of fun going out there flying. We had two little minor crashes.
Relatively minor? Like just maybe some props cracked?
Oh, yeah. Just, I mean, I'm
big?
going to have to buy some new props, but that's always, after every training, you got to buy new props.
Sure.
Someone was trying to go through the cube, and they didn't account for the wind, so they hit the left side of the cube going through it.
It happens.
It does. And then another...
They learned how to account for the wind.
Yes.
Right? Part of the process.
And then I had another student who was a little bit more brazen, and I always have students who I'll tell them something a couple times, but they'll always be kind of off in their own world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, watch out, because when you get your orientation turned around, you're going to have a problem. So here's how you stop that problem. Well, I don't know if he listened or it just didn't process, or maybe he was thinking about something else.
Well, some people they learn by doing.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
So it could just be the process for that particular
Totally
person.
true. But anyway, I was helping someone else because I had three people at the same time. I was helping someone else work on the timing of banking their turn. So the timing of when you roll versus when you yaw. And I look over and he's like, where's the Phantom 3? And I'm like, my Phantom 3? No, really, where is it? So, yeah, he had an orientation problem, crashed it into a cacti. I had never seen green splooge before. On Nickelodeon, right?
Yeah.
And if you
Ghostbusters?
hit a cacti, that's what it looks like. So
interesting.
But unlike Arizona, if you hit a cacti here, it's not a $25,000
But you use the
fine.
word brazen, so would you take that back? Not necessarily brazen, or was it a younger person?
No, it was the opposite problem.
Oh.
It was so, normally you have someone young, bullheaded,
kinda
and then you have
going
like
for it.
the really old guys who are like, oh, I've been through it all. You can't tell me what to do type.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Well, it takes all types, and being a good instructor includes dealing well with different types.
Oh,
and
yeah.
teaching right, depending on what their style of learning is.
Oh, yeah. And the guy was like instantly embarrassed when
Oh,
he
yeah,
crashed,
of
too,
course.
because he was like, well, you said, majority of the time you bring people out here and they never crash. And I was like, that's true.
Not gonna lie.
I said, because they listen to what I'm saying. I'm like, were you flying high, like over 50 feet? He's like, well, no. I'm like, well, that's number one.
You know what? It is a learning process, and I'm sure they all got better throughout the day.
Oh, yeah, and it's so much fun, too, Rob.
Yeah.
And, even though he was embarrassed, I was like, don't worry about it. It's just a prop. I'm going to clear the motor really quick with some air. Everything will be fine.
And it happens.
And it was fine, and it was okay. And he actually wanted to come back for more training, so I
There
thought
you
that
go.
was cool.
What else needs to be said?
Exactly. Anyway, let's get into today's question, which is going to be brought to you by Legal Flyer. So if you are a 333 pilot, you've got to have those property releases. And really, guys, if you're flying anywhere, having a private property release could save your butt for multiple problems. So make sure you use Legal Flyer, the app, to get your property permission release. I say permission because it's like permission to fly, but it's also a property release. So I'm like mixing those words together. Anyway, here's our question. Are you a drone pilot? Are you operating under a Section 333 exemption? Then you may be familiar with Item 27, which requires you to get a property release for every flight over property.
Legal Flyer is an app for iPhone and iPad that helps you create professional property releases in less time than it takes to do a pre-flight check.
You can add your pilot info, you can sign in, hand it to the property owner for their signature. But wait a second. Legal Flyer's advanced integration automatically adds latitude, longitude, and even altitude.
Then add a panorama straight from the app. Everything drops into a single-page PDF you can share with a single tap. It's compliance at light speed. Visit LegalFlyer.com for more information or get it straight from the App Store. Legal Flyer. Property releases for professional drone pilots.
Hey guys, so I'm looking to extend the range of the Lightbridge on my DJI Phantom3 Advanced, and I'm wondering what y'all recommend.
All right, Rob, take it away.
Okay, well, first of all, you go to Amazon. No, so anyways, Lightbridge, I would assume most people are wanting to do this, right? So it's probably not an uncommon question.
It is not an uncommon question, and it is a great question. A lot of people too with the Solo were asking this question because the Solo gets significantly less distance than the Phantom. But a lot of people who are saying, "Oh man, I don't know if Drone U should really be telling these people how to get more distance. You're only supposed to fly line of sight." There are many instances, our office being one of them, where you could go flying and just consistently lose the connection, and it cuts out, and it cuts out, and it cuts out, and
Even if you are line of sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that there is actually a very valid use for a range extender just to ensure more power and ensure more signal strength, meaning your signal is staying consistent because that telemetry data is really important.
Right.
So it's kind of a safety thing. So even though some people might say, well, yeah, but if you up your transmission power, you could get into, FCC trouble, blah, blah, blah. News for everyone out there. I'm pretty sure just about every single drone transmission system is breaking the FCC rules because you're supposed to have...
Oh, wow.
You're supposed to have...
That's unfortunate.
A license to output so much wattage,
yeah.
and a lot of people don't. So you're supposed to have a ham radio license.
I would say 99.8% of drone pilots don't have that.
Yeah.
Would be my guess. Totally a guess.
Yeah, but it also goes to showcase the need for a change in legislation because, this is the first time that we're seeing encrypted transmission signals.
Yep.
So we're jumping frequencies here. Anyway, so there is definitely a good need for distance range extenders.
Sure.
Excuse me. Now, if you're familiar with Tony from Austin, Texas, Tony owns FPV LR. We are not sponsored by Tony, so Tony, you're welcome.
You're
for
welcome.
The free plug. But we love his system because I've had a few friends of Drone U as well, that have actually tested this system and have gotten some very good results with it. I don't recommend that a lot of people go out there and try to do this testing because it's kind of you shouldn't do it. It's one of those things you just shouldn't do. You shouldn't try to see how far away you can fly. Not a good idea. I don't recommend that. I can't recommend that being a co-host of Ask Drone U. Is it fun?
No. It's not fun at all, Paul.
All right, so if you go to fpvlr.com and then you click the DJI drones range extenders, there's one particular range extender that I have tested thanks to some friends. Let me pull this up here, Robert.
So, and what Paul's about to talk to us about is a little bit more on the high end, right, of cost in terms of a solution for what this question is getting at.
Well, I mean, if you really want to increase your range, the quality of the signal, and increase the efficiency of the machine overall, you're just going to want to, jump the gun and get the $300 solution. Are there cheaper solutions? Yes, but you're not going to get a all across the board better platform. You're just going to get, maybe your transmission signal will be a little bit better, but it could be directed energy, not, widespread omnidirectional signals.
Right.
It's like saying, all right, well, if I put a spotlight on my car, am I going to be able to see the road better? And the answer is, depends on the road.
Depends on where your spotlight pointing as well.
That's true.
Anyways.
So there's a lot of different things here. If you're trying to get a better feed, if you're trying a better video feed, a better control feed, and more distance, the FPV LR solution, which is $299. In fact, let me pull this up really quick. It's $299, and they call it the Advanced Kit for the Phantom 3 and Inspire. Now, this is one that Andrew Baker did some testing on. I've had another friend do some testing on it. And they have gotten 9 miles out of this system.
Out in the middle of nowhere.
We have
very
no
controlled
idea.
testing, we're assuming. That they are responsible drone pilots. Anyway, but when they tested it, it did everything it was designed to do.
Yes, it worked consistently. Let me read. This guy Keith McCormick wrote on the FPV LR website a review. I'm gonna read this. This is the best antenna setup for the P3 I've ever used. I've recorded an 8.6 mile flight with this antenna set, and I could easily have gone further. I had to turn around because the battery limitations, not the signal.
That's incredible.
That's pretty BA. Most of which was over land, which is amazing. If you want the best signal you can get for your P3, this is the antenna set. And I would say, if someone's going to want to get a range extender, just to go with this setup. Yeah. Because if you just get a different type of antenna, it's not really going to assist in receiving or transmitting data. So remember, you've got to be able to do both.
So I saw something as I was kind of looking up this stuff, Paul, and I don't know if this would be worthwhile at all, but a much less expensive solution, and that is using like little copper shields or something I don't know how those would work technically.
So what that's doing is just changing the direction of the signal.
Okay.
Essentially, you're going like, oh, here's my wide 120 degree signal down to 84 degrees. So it's like going from an omnidirectional antenna to a patch antenna. So patch is, very directionalized energy, whereas omnidirectional is less focused, more kind of broad.
So if you do that, you've got to stay pointed at your drone.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, remember when we had Walt and Peter here doing our industrial design class, they had that signal tracer. Mm-hmm. Where they, don't ask me how they do this, they get like 15 miles of range, and the signal tracer would actually track the signal.
Wow.
So it would never lose signal. I mean, this thing literally moved 360 degrees, up, down, around.
Cool. But so somebody could do something like that and then just obviously be spatially aware, and it would be a lot less expensive. But
I wouldn't use it.
You wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it.
No, that's cool. I'm just throwing that out there to see what you think.
Especially if someone's like using this for business,
Sure.
It's just where's your point of liability?
Right.
Who do you go after? You know what I mean? And then what's the consistency with this? How is this really going to help me out? I just think that trying to go MacGyver with stuff like this is just not a good idea. There's too many things that can go wrong.
So it's your own hard-earned bucks. And I don't know. You got a lot of bills coming up. you still going to pay $300 for this versus maybe half for a different solution?
Well, there is a different solution that is half the price. It's $154. And what that solution is just a better antenna. Here, let me just read it for you and pull it up on my phone. Again, you're not going to get nearly the distance or the length. Product description. It says long-range kit V2. It doesn't really say much.
Huh. Okay. So
it's a redesigned antenna array with LHCP plus RHCP, helix 10.5 decibel gain, 60-degree beam width antennas. It minimizes crosstalk when using high-powered RF amplifiers. Comes with a 3D plastic mount. And then 2 MMCX to RP SMA female pigtail cables to modify the radio controller. A distance of 6+ miles with exceptionally good reception are possible with this kit, as you can see from the images below. So it is possible to get a cheaper kit and also, utilize a better antenna. If you remember, Andre Durham had some antennas that he put on his Phantom 2 remote that helped him out, which he would get better signal, like quality, but not really increased range. So remember, the range is going to be limited by how much power we're putting into the transmission of our signal as well. So there are limitations through and through. Now, if we've got a small powered transmitter, like 500 milliwatt, but we've got, say, a 4 or 5 watt receiver, which you would need a ham license for, you would be able to pick up that signal from the small transmitter. It would be totally possible. So can you overcompensate on one end for the other? Yes, you can. It may not be a comprehensive solution like the one I first discussed, but yeah, it's possible.
But
yes,
you are gonna get some gains, like what our question asker is looking for.
Well, it's also a simpler install too. Yeah. Because the other aspect of this is, are you going to spend $300 and the time it takes to install this on your remote? Right. And when I saw how Andrew had done it, I was like, no way, I'm paying that extra $100 to get that installed on my remote. I mean, even if we did it here at Drone U, I would send them my secondary remote and be like, have at it.
Right.
So
yeah, because it's pretty involved. Soldering involved, everything.
It's very, very involved.
Yeah, so you don't want to mess that up. In likelihood, unless you do it a lot, you're probably not going to do it right the first time.
No, and I've had friends that have had the cables stick onto the actual springs of their joysticks on the remote itself. Yeah. And that can cause serious problems. So
cool. Well, anyways, hopefully that answers the question. At least gives a couple of options, a couple things to think about, and then this fellow will be well on his way to flying 9 miles away. Except not.
The whole idea, remember, guys, visual line of sight, but the whole idea here is to get better signal reception overall, so you're not losing your feed.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Hope you guys found that useful. Oh, man, we got so much stuff going on. If you love the podcast, please share it with someone. Leave us a review. If you got a question, go to AskDroneU.com. We love those questions. We love solving problems.
I really like when Siri asks questions, personally.
Well, I'm glad that was your favorite. Also, in tomorrow's podcast, we're going to announce the winner of the free annual membership. So Rob is all over that like Kobayashi. And that should do it for us today. So on that bombshell, my name is Paul.
And I'm Rob.
And this is Ask Drone U.
We believe that videos, images, words, and sounds have the absolute power to inform, inspire, and entertain. We are united under the virtues of safety and knowledge. We are a training community of learners and teachers who encourage and energize each other to achieve greatness. We are pilots, videographers, photographers, freelancers, business owners, enthusiasts, experts, and apprentices. We are creators. We are the Drone U.